Let's observe silence for a few minutes. Om. Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 7. We'll chant from verses 25 to 30.
नाहं प्रकाशः सर्वस्य योगमाया समावृतः
Aha.
मूढोऽयं नाभिजानाति लोको मामजमव्ययम् वेदाहं समतीतानि वर्तमानानि चार्जुन भविष्याणि च भूतानि मां तु वेद न कश्चन इच्छाद्वेषसमुत्थेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहम् सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप येषां त्वन्तगतं पापं जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां ते द्वन्द्वमोहनिर्मुक्ताः भजन्ते मां दृढव्रताः जरामरणमोक्षाय मामाश्रित्य यतन्ति ये ते ब्रह्म तद्विदुः कृत्स्नम् अध्यात्मं कर्म चाखिलम् साधिभूताधिदैवं माम् साधियज्ञं च ये विदुः प्रयाणकालेऽपि च माम् ते विदुर्युक्तचेतसः
Last week, we concluded with verse number 26. O Arjuna, I know the beings of the past, present, and future, but no one knows me. So, whenever you are studying a scripture, any scripture, Bhagavad Gita, it could be Upanishad, it could be Bible. When an enlightened person says I, he does not mean his personality. It is totally misunderstood. When Christ says in Bible, come to me, he does not mean Mr. Christ. It means supreme reality. So similarly, when Krishna says I, the pronoun I, it means supreme reality. Because these great masters, they have transcended body, mind, intellect. So there is no individuality left. So similarly, in verse number 26, last week it was explained. I'm just recapping. Krishna says, I know the beings of all the times, past, present, and future, but no one knows me. So what we understand is supreme reality is all pervading, it is eternal. It exists. When we say eternal, it means it existed in the past, it is existing now, it is going to exist in the future. And also, it is everywhere, it is all pervading. So that so the spark of supreme reality functions in every being, all creatures. What enlivens our personality is that spark of supreme reality for all purposes. Your perceptions, your emotions, your thoughts. So you're aware of everything right now, what is happening in your personality. But you're not aware of what's happening to others, their perceptions, their emotions, their thoughts. But the same supreme reality is functioning in everybody. So they are aware, other creatures, other beings, all periods of time. They are aware of their perceptions, emotions, and thoughts because of supreme reality. So last week we saw that chart. So the word we use in this context is pure consciousness. It's same, but it becomes clear. All these are synonyms. Supreme reality, Atman, Brahman, pure consciousness. But in what context we use them, that you need to understand. So the same pure consciousness is functioning in all beings. But we are not aware of that pure consciousness. So therefore he says, but no one knows me, because pure consciousness, or in layman's language, God, cannot be captured by your senses, by your emotions, by your intellect. So only when you transcend your body, mind, intellect, you become that supreme reality. And when you become supreme reality, you know that is your original nature. It's like a dreamer cannot contact the waking state with his dream senses, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. They cannot contact the waker. Emotionally, he cannot feel the waker. Intellectually, he cannot understand what is waking state. However, you may try to explain to him, he cannot understand. So, similarly, we cannot understand what is that supreme reality. You may rack your brains whole life, you will not understand. So, with your senses, you can't definitely contact supreme reality or God. Emotionally, you cannot feel it. Intellectually, you cannot understand that. Okay, now I understood the concept of God. It's not possible. But when you reach the state of self realization by your own experience, you understand what that experience is, what is that supreme reality. So, therefore, Krishna says, but no one knows me. So, the conditioned person does not know the unconditioned state, which is the state of pure consciousness. So, we all are conditioned people, conditioned by our desires, which creates this individuality. So you have to come out of this conditioning to experience what is pure consciousness. So that's the purpose of human life. We have no other purpose in life. the ultimate purpose. So all great masters repeatedly they have been harping on this truth that find out your identity. Why are you caught up at the level of conditioned consciousness? So this is what we covered last week in verse number 26. Let's move on to verse number 27.
इच्छाद्वेषसमुत्थेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहम् सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप इच्छाद्वेषसमुत्थेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहम् सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप.
Translation: O Bharata, O Arjuna, by the delusion of the pairs of opposites arising from desire and aversion, all beings are subject to illusion at birth. O Parantapa, O Arjuna, Ichha Dvesha Samastuthena, arising from desire and aversion. What? This delusion, Dandva Mohena, by the pairs of opposites. You are deluded right from the birth. So what we understand in verse number 27, that you are born because of the ignorance of the self. Self or divinity is your original nature. That's what you are. That is your true identity. But since you don't know the supreme reality, you have lost that connection due to ignorance of your divinity, your original nature. You are born. It's like a wave is born due to its ignorance that it is ocean. Actually, wave does not exist. It doesn't have any individuality, but it believes that I am so and so. So similarly, we believe that I am so and so. I am male. I am female. I am this. I am that. But actually, there is no individuality. But for all practical purposes, yes, it is. From relative level, we cannot say that. So why this separation? So it is ignorance of your self. By self, we mean divinity. You are born to begin with. If you are one with divinity, why would you be born to begin with? So since due to ignorance we are born, from day one we are deluded. What is that delusion? That we do not know our original state. We do not know our original nature, who we are. Tat Tvam Asi. This is what Upanishads are telling us. Kingdom of God is within you. This is what Christ is saying. Same concept. And since you are deluded from the day one, that state of delusion seems normal. It's very interesting because you have not experienced anything else. So, how would you know what is not being deluded? Like mental agitations, worry, stress, anxiety, you go through highs and lows in your life. Everybody is going through that. It's a matter of more or less. So, you believe it is normal. Actually, it's not normal. This is what these great masters they are trying to tell us. See, it's like if you are born in riches, really like well-to-do family, who and they have been rich for generations. So such people, they do not know what is poverty. It's not that they are acting, I mean, they are born with so much of wealth. So they have never experienced poverty. So they feel it is normal. But that's not so. I mean, billions of people, they don't have even the basics. So similarly, if you are born in poverty and you're not exposed to the world, some remote place you are living, and right from the day you are born, what you have experienced is poverty, you believe that is normal. Either way, it is applicable. So similarly, we are born because of the delusion, the ignorance, and we are in a deluded state and we believe it is normal. That's not so. This is what they're telling us. And then what happens? Once you are deluded, once you are ignorant, what happens? So the due to the ignorance of the self, entire life you experience void. Self equals state of total fulfillment, paripurna, your whole. But you are ignorant of that, and due to that ignorance, you experience a sense of incompleteness throughout your life. Doesn't matter what life throws at you. It may throw best at you, it may throw worst at you. Either way, that sense of incompleteness remains. And to address that sense of incompleteness, your thoughts start going into the world, which is called as desires. This is how desires are born. And when world around you is conducive, you're happy. This is the main message in verse number 27. When world around you is conducive, you're happy. When world around you is not conducive, you're not happy. If weather is good according to you, you're happy. If weather is not good, you're not happy. People praise you, you're happy. They criticize you, you're not happy. If your partner's mood is good, you are happy. Your partner's mood is not good, you're not happy. You're miserable. Profit goes up, you're happy. Profit comes down. A lot of people in America, they are miserable right now, all over the world. Oh, it has crashed, it has crashed, Anything that goes down has to come up. I mean, that is life. If children are doing good, there's a smile on your face. If children are not doing good according to you, they may be doing great. You're miserable. So you can go on multiplying examples. But the whole game starts with ignorance of your fullness. This is what we need to understand. See, I repeat, ignorance of the self, meaning divinity, means the state of total fulfillment. That's your original nature. That is my original nature. Due to that ignorance, you feel a void, a lacuna in you throughout your life. And to fulfill that incompleteness, that void, thoughts, they go to the world. So in Vedantic parlance, we call them desires. And once thoughts, they start going to the world, objects and beings of the world, what happens? When world is conducive, you are happy. When world is not conducive, so you're miserable. So we discuss various examples: weather, children, workplace, profit and loss. You can go on multiplying examples. So you create likes and dislikes and suffer. This is the main message here. So if you read the translation, delusion of the pairs of opposites arising from desire and aversion, meaning likes and dislikes. This is what we are referring to. So you create likes and dislikes. I like this weather, I don't like that weather. I like profit only, I don't like loss. This is what we mean by likes and dislikes. And these likes and dislikes, they create mental agitations. So if you are inundated with likes and dislikes, I mean, you could be miserable whole life. Once in a while, you may be okay. So it depends on how many likes and dislikes you have created. So due to likes and dislikes, mental agitations are created by you, and you get more and more sucked into that delusion. What is that delusion? That you are full, you are that truth, you are that reality. To understand that, you should have X amount of calmness, isn't it? Then only you can reflect on these eternal truths. But due to mental agitations created by your likes and dislikes, you get more and more sucked into the delusion. So that's what we find in some people. They keep on complaining about same old thing. This is how my wife behaves. This is how my husband behaves. How long you have been married? Oh, we're going to celebrate 50th anniversary. I understand if you're married for 1 week, it takes a while to assess your partner. 50 years, how can you have same old complaint? Or you could be reveling in, you got all the money in the world now. And what are you doing? Every other week, every other week, you're indulging in that wealth. What else you can do when wealth is not backed by values? It's a beautiful commodity to have, provided you have value. So, likes and dislikes, I'm trying to explain both. I like to do this. So, you go on reveling in that and you're lost. It's like a child is playing with the toys. It likes to play the toys with that particular toy. It is lost. Or it may hate particular mom tells, no, okay, you're not doing this, baby. It starts crying. It is miserable. So, either way, child is lost in its likes and dislikes. Exactly same thing is happening to you and me. So all that creates mental agitations. Mind remains disturbed due to these agitations. And when mind is disturbed, intellect is not available to reflect and contemplate on the truths of life. What is life all about? What's my purpose in life? And those who have the book, Swamiji has explained nicely with that chart. So I'm not getting into all that. I mean, something you have to study at home. Right? I mean, if you're 100% sane, when your intellect is 100% available, such a person is called as sane. When you don't have your intellect at all, insane. So we all swing in between. You could become emotional, you could become eccentric, you could become hysterical. So find out where you are. And the root cause of all this is the fact you don't know that you are that truth, you are that reality, which creates that incompleteness, which produces desires. And you try to fulfill those desires, and you're caught up in that wild goose chase, which you're never going to win. So, read that portion from the book where he explains the chart. Other points I covered in detail just now. So, important verse number 27. And then the thought flow continues. 28, please.
येषां त्वन्तगतं पापं जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां ते द्वन्द्वमोहनिर्मुक्ताः भजन्ते मां दृढव्रताः येषां त्वन्तगतं पापं जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां ते द्वन्द्वमोहनिर्मुक्ताः भजन्ते मां दृढव्रताः.
Translation. But those men of virtuous deeds, whose sins have come to an end, they, freed from the delusion of pairs of opposites, worship me with firm resolve. Dandva Moha Nirmuktaha. Who are these people? People who have got knowledge, virtue of deeds, virtuous deeds, meaning those who have knowledge of the scriptures. So they are not victimized by what we studied in verse number 27. So that's the thought flow. So in the previous verse, what was the main message? That when you are caught up in the pursuits of likes and dislikes, you're disturbed, you're mentally disturbed. It's a question of more or less, number one. Number two, your approach to life is self centered. Your whole life, you are trying to fulfill your likes and dislikes. I like this, I don't like that. I like this, I don't like that. Throughout your life, your relationship is based on likes and dislikes. So you may not care what your spouse wants. You may not care what your children want. Workplace, you may not care what are your obligation. As a member of a society, you don't care what others want, what are their needs. So whole life you are catering to your own personality, your likes and dislikes, which creates mental agitations. So when they use the word sin in Vedanta, it means mental agitations. Sin equals mental agitations. So why mental agitations are created? By your own selfishness. More self-centered you are, more mentally disturbed you are. It's a law of life. If you're not self-centered, to the extent you're not self-centered, you will not be mentally disturbed. So whole life you're caught up in the pursuit of likes and dislikes, which produces mental agitations. But those who of virtuous deeds, men of virtuous deeds, meaning those who have the knowledge of the scriptures. It is as simple as that. So they have understood the purpose of their life. That why am I born as a human being? So they want to reach the ultimate state. So your ideal could be absolute or relative. If you cannot conceive the absolute ideal, good many people they cannot, it's okay. At least you can think of, I want to become a better human being, for which I need this knowledge. So that's what we mean by main of virtuous deeds is a poetry. So you fix self realization as an ideal or self improvement, that could be your ideal, that could be your goal. So when you do that, then you're not victimized by likes and dislikes, meaning you're not victimized by your self centered desires because your thoughts are on something higher. You're not concerned 24/7 just to fulfill your selfish desires. So these higher values, which we are learning in Bhagavad Gita, they gradually replace lower values, lower desires. And when your lower desires are eliminated slowly but surely, your mind becomes calm. Your goal comes into sharp focus. Again, by goal, it could be relative goal, it could be absolute goal. Are you following the thought flow? So you are able to contemplate, you are able to eventually meditate and progress on the spiritual path. Do you have that PowerPoint? I think I shared with you, Makran. Because sometimes PowerPoints are useful, you know. The same concept I had tried to put it on paper. So on top is the goal of self-realization. But here we are talking about, especially verse number 27, he is talking about people who are victimized by likes and dislikes. Whole approach to life is self-centered. So it creates pairs of opposites. So what happens? That is shown on the left side. You are mentally agitated. And when you are mentally agitated, you are pinned down to that. You can't think of what's your purpose in life. But when you have a higher ideal, I want to become a better human being. So what happens? So you tackle your likes and dislikes, your self-centeredness. Your mind becomes calm, your intellect becomes sharp, it is available, to think and reflect. And then slowly you can conceive the goal of self realization or God realization. So, which removes most of your desires. And then you reach a state of contemplation, meditation. Meaning, it doesn't matter what you are doing in life, that goal is in sharp focus. You could be at home, you could be working, you could be anywhere in the world, enjoying, why not? But your intellect never wavers from the ultimate goal. So that's what it means. But those main of virtuous deeds. Are you following the thought flow? I mean, it's poetry. If you try to understand it literally, I mean, what does it mean? It's nothing but knowledge. And when you don't have knowledge, you have mental agitations, which is sin. Sins have come to an end, meaning your agitations they gradually reduce, and you are freed from the delusion of the pairs of opposites. Meaning these pairs of opposites they don't bother you anymore, relatively speaking. Health, ill health is a pair of opposite. I mean, you understand it's part and parcel of life. Profit and loss is a part and parcel of life. So you develop that capacity to tackle these challenges. So that's the sign that you are going in the right direction, that knowledge is helping you. So, straightforward verse 28. Verse number 29, please.
जरामरणमोक्षाय मामाश्रित्य यतन्ति ये ते ब्रह्म तद्विदुः कृत्स्नम् अध्यात्मम् कर्म चाखिलम् जरामरणमोक्षाय मामाश्रित्य यतन्ति ये ते ब्रह्म तद्विदुः कृत्स्नम् अध्यात्मम् कर्म चाखिलम्.
Translation. Those who strive for liberation from old age and death, Jara Marana Mokshaya, taking refuge in me, meaning knowledge, knowledge of the scriptures, they realize the whole. Brahman, Adhyatman, meaning what is Atman, and Karma, action. So don't worry about all these terms. Bhagavad Gita assumes that you know all these terms. That's the problem of studying Bhagavad Gita. Because traditionally it was studied much later. Initially, seekers they did not study Gita. They studied introductory books. But since that tradition is not there anymore, we don't know what these words mean. But you don't have to worry. I'm going to explain. It's quite simple. It's quite straightforward. So when he says, those who strive for liberation from old age and death, Jara Marana Mokshaya, he is referring to 5 metamorphic changes in life. When we studied Bhajagovindam, I think we covered this portion, isn't it? So that is life. That is my life. That is your life. That you go through these 5 metamorphic changes, life after life: birth, growth, decay, disease, death. I repeat: birth, growth, decay, disease, and death. So these are 5 metamorphic changes. And each change at every stage, there are challenges. Birth itself is a challenge. You ask all the mothers, fathers, they don't know what you are saying, but you ask any mother, it's no joke. What is the guarantee that child will be born normal, physically, mentally, and the pain both mother and child goes through. So the process of birth itself is painful. We all have gone through that, but we have completely forgotten that. Then growth. whole life like struggle, to earn wealth, to get education, to do well, all that follows. So it is struggle. Then there has to be a decay as far as your body is concerned. It is going to it is going to followed by disease, and one fine day we have to die. So this is my life, this is your life, and this is natural process. There is nothing unnatural about it. But if you're not prepared, if you don't have this knowledge, at every stage it can bother you. It can produce agitation, stress, and worry, and whatnot. So how you overcome this mental agitation, which is produced at each stage of your life? You need knowledge. Without knowledge, you cannot face life. See, we always keep on harping on this sentence. Bhagavad Gita is instruction manual for life. World is as it is. Life is as it is. But do you know how to live life? So if you do not know how to live life, you will pay price, which is mental agitations, worry, anxiety, conflict, confrontation, disharmony, and whatnot. It is created by our lack of understanding of how to live life. That's what it means. So when you have the knowledge of Vedanta, you can face these challenges of life without being affected. I'm trying to give you a very simple explanation. That's what it means, how you tackle these metamorphic changes. And also, you are born again and again, and you go through this same process. So, either way, it is applicable. Somebody may say, no, I don't care about next life, next birth. It doesn't matter whether you believe it in or not. I mean, fact is a fact, but let's talk about this life. So, either way, it is applicable. In this life, in this lifetime, if you want to be happy, if you want to develop the capacity to face any challenge, you need this knowledge. That's what it means. Jara Marana. Jara Marana Mokshaya. I'm trying to explain that one word. It's quite simple. And upon self realization, you come out of this cycle. So, from relative level and absolute level, it can be taken. Relative level is our life. I don't want to be affected by these challenges which world keeps on throwing at me. But the ultimate liberation is when you're not born. I mean, why will you go through these challenges? Which is a state of self-realization. Human being minus desires equals self-realization. So you're not born. So either way, it is applicable. And then the second part, when he says Atman, Atman and Brahman, they are same. He is using the word here, Adhyatma. It means the individual self. It's like total electricity and electricity in a particular gadget. It is same. There is no difference. So the God principle which functions in you, the same God principle functions in all beings. The same God principle is the substratum of the entire universe. That's what it means. It's a simple concept. And you understand that. What do you understand? That you are that supreme reality. You are that Atman. You are that truth. You are that reality. And with that understanding, you start functioning in the world. And only when your thoughts are on the supreme reality, you will not be caught up in what you do in life. You have that choice that you can focus your attention either on your personality, which is on body, mind, intellect, or you can focus your attention on what? Every human being has this choice. Nobody is denied this choice. You may use it, you may not use it. That is different. So, what is that choice every human being has? That you can focus your attention on the material equipment. What are the material equipments we have? Body, mind, intellect, senses, perceptions, emotions, and thoughts. Or you can focus on
I.
that
Yes.
supreme reality, which is the substratum of your personality. So if you focus on body, mind, intellect, you will be caught in the world. You will be crushed by the world. The world affects body, mind, intellect. It cannot affect the supreme reality in you. But if you go for the other choice, you focus on the supreme reality, you understand that I am that truth, I am that reality, and then carry on with whatever you're doing in life. You don't have to do anything different. Then you will not be affected by the world. We often give example of actor on a stage. You must have heard it 100 times. Actor is not affected by what is happening on the stage. To him, he may play a role, a lead role in a tragedy, but he is not affected by that tragedy. In real life, he's a very happy person. He doesn't even know what is tragedy in life, but he plays that role. So similarly, if your thoughts are on the supreme reality, you have that choice. And then you carry on with whatever you are doing. In best and worst of circumstances, you will not be affected by the world. So that is the concept. But somebody may say so. Nobody is saying so. I'm only positing the question. See, the actor knows he is an actor, whatever. He has a personality. Let's say Veera is playing a role of, I don't know, whatever role he plays. What is that? Some Satan you played, or some like, no, you played the role of a some saint, right?
Both have played, Amiji.
Yeah, both you have played. Okay, so let's talk about the saintly role, right? When you're not, you know your reality, that you're going to remain Veera, or even if you play a negative role, you're not going to become a negative person. But there is easy, I'm Veera Raghavan Akkur, you know that. But when it comes to those scriptures are saying your original identity is supreme reality, we don't know what it is. So then how do you function? So for that you need this knowledge. You need to be consistent with this knowledge and do your obligations to the best of your ability in a spirit of detachment and move on. Everybody has obligations. At home, you have obligations. You could be a father, you could be a mother, you could be a son, whatever you are. In the society, you have certain obligations, you have a role to play. In your workplace, you have a certain role to play. So use your intellect, identify what obligations you have, and perform your obligatory duties in the spirit of detachment without getting entangled. Move on. Right now, your obligation is to focus on what Bhagavad Gita is teaching us. So try your level best to understand what is being taught in the class and move on. Don't worry about, will I improve, will I become self-realized and all that. That is called as entanglement. Yes, you have a goal. There is no doubt about that. So just give your level best in whatever you're doing in life. So that way you are not getting entangled in the world. And of course, side by side, every day you are taking these noble thoughts early in the morning. So definitely you are asserting your supreme reality. But by not getting involved in the world, by doing your obligatory duties in the spirit of detachment, you are negating the world. Do you follow the thought flow? Asserting supreme reality is not easy because we don't know what it is. But that does not mean we should not assert it at all. I mean, there is some kind of understanding when we study the scriptures, isn't it? There is some faith. All these great masters for thousands of years, they have been saying the same thing, that you are that supreme reality. So yes, definitely there is an assertion. We know. And with your consistent study and reflection, it becomes more and more pronounced. You get that conviction. But side by side, you need to do your obligatory duties, which you cannot avoid, in a spirit of what?
Detachment.
Spirit of detachment. So when you do this, you will move in the direction of the supreme reality. And eventually, you will get there, or the goal will come into sharp focus. See, some of you who started your spiritual journey, maybe 5 years back, 7 years back, 8 years back, I mean, how many times you thought about this knowledge? To be honest, be truthful to yourself. Once in a while, you showed up for the class. Oh yeah, it's Saturday. That too when Vijay and Makaran and team, they send reminders. Suddenly, oh yeah, today there is a Gita class. It is helpful. That is why we are sending these reminders. It's not that we want an audience here. But then after a while, you don't need that reminder. There is a self reminder. Oh, there is Saturday, there is Sunday. Then slowly you start studying. So this is happening to everybody. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. So the goal comes into sharp focus due to your association with this knowledge. If you are sincere, if you are genuine, if you have that faith, you don't have to worry about anything else. Automatically, world gets negated. Non-essentials of life, they drop off. You don't drop off anything. Automatically, they drop off. And then the last verse number 30. The chapter concludes with that.
साधिभूताधिदैवं मां साधियज्ञं च ये विदुः प्रयाणकालेऽपि च मां ते विदुर्युक्तचेतसः साधिभूताधिदैवं मां साधियज्ञं च ये विदुः प्रयाणकालेऽपि च मां ते विदुर्युक्तचेतसः.
Those who know me, meaning supreme reality, with Adi Bhuta, meaning which is above elements, above world, Adi Daiva, above gods, Adi Yajna, above sacrifice, meaning beyond body, mind, intellect. Even at the time of death, Prayana Kalepi, they steadfast in mind know me. Oh, don't worry about these words, technical words. It's very simple. So, what we learn here, the pluralistic world of objects and beings which you and I are experiencing is nothing but Brahman. It's nothing but supreme reality. So, where is that supreme reality? If you start from your individuality, from your personality, beyond body, mind, intellect is the supreme reality, which is the core of your personality. And that supreme reality, which is the core of your personality, is also the substratum of the entire universe. Macrocosm, it is applicable. Beyond body, mind, intellect, beyond these veshers, body, mind, intellect, they are the veshers, is your essential nature, which is the self, which is Atman, which is divinity. The same divinity is the substratum of the whole universe. So, what is this is on relative level? And if you look at it from absolute level, see, we say supreme reality is all pervading, it is eternal. So, when you say it is all pervading, it means there exists nothing other than the reality, supreme reality. So therefore, what is body, mind, and intellect which you are experiencing? The empirical world made up of objects and beings and elements you are experiencing is nothing but supreme reality. From relative level, there is a distinction that these are waves, this is the ocean. Yes or no? You can't say there are no waves because this is what you are experiencing. But from the standpoint of the ocean, there are no waves. If you go to Mr. Ocean and you ask him, yesterday I was admiring, huge waves. We all were surfing Santa Cruz in California. Mr. Ocean will not understand what you are saying. He say, what waves? So from absolute level, there are no waves. There is only ocean. But from relative level, there are different types of waves. There is froth, there is foam. There's so many things happening in the ocean. So similarly, from our standpoint, there is a distinction. There is spirit, there is matter. You can't say there is no matter. This is what we are caught up in. But from absolute level, what is matter? So if you understand this, you will understand any scripture. Usually people, they mix levels. From absolute level, matter is spirit. From absolute level, snake is rope. But from the standpoint of limitations, there is a snake, then you tell the boy the substratum of the snake is rope. But you and I are not experiencing the snake. For you and me, the snake does not exist. But for a boy, snake is existing. You have to talk from his level, which is relative level. But from absolute level, there is no snake, there is only rope. So from absolute level, there is only supreme reality. Or other way of explaining is matter is nothing but the spirit. Spirit and matter are one. There is no distinction. So when you get this understanding, when you're established in this thought process, that knowledge, your fixation on the supreme reality, other way of explaining the higher values of life, you can take it either way, whatever is your comfort level. That fixation is permanent. And you carry forward that fixation even to your future life. See, even in this life, let's say you started your spiritual journey when you were 20% evolved. For argument's sake, that was your growth. And you put efforts. And you are, let's say, at 50% of spiritual growth right now, after 10 years, 15 years of sadhana meaning spiritual efforts, spiritual practice. So that 50% will stay with you. You will not regress. How do you know you will not regress? How do you know you maintain that awareness? In best and worst of circumstances, you have that sense of detachment. That is the proof. Life could be great to you. Why not? Everything is like, surplus, good health, you're blessed with wealth, family, position, everything. But you have that sense of detachment in and through all these enjoyments in life. You understand there is nothing but a passing phenomena. Similarly, you may face challenges at time. So you're not bogged down by these challenges. So you have to tackle these challenges. That is life all about. But you have that sense of detachment. Are you with me? So in best and worst of circumstances, you have that sense of
Yes.
detachment. That's what is meant by you have that fixation on the self. You are established in the higher values. Otherwise, it's just a theoretical concept. And that is permanent. So if you are established 50%, you cannot go back to 40. Assumption is you are truly established in 50. That's your growth. So your growth is permanent. And next life also, you carry forward that growth. In fact, that's the only thing you carry forward, nothing else. Wealth, family, name, fame, whatever you acquired, nothing comes with you. So what you carry forward is purer mind and clarity of intellect. That's what that subtle equipment, that subtle body is transferred from this gross body to the next gross body. So you start where you left off. And it's a common sense. You you go to bed tonight. Tomorrow you will wake up as what?
Same.
Same person. It's not that you're going to be transformed. Suddenly you woke up as a very saintly person. Uh, don't take it personally. You know, you're a crook. The crook will get up as a crook. If you're a saintly person will get up as a saintly person. Saintly person suddenly will not become a crook. So you carry forward whatever you are. It is as simple as that. So that is why you find that, if you study life of some great men, early in their life they got that call. Like Adi Shankaracharya is one such example. There are millions of such examples, but I am giving you. At the age of 10, 12, he left everything and he went into Himalayas to find Guru. Ramana Maharshi, another famous saint, his mother gave him fees. He was in 7th grade. Go pay the fees. He never went to the school. He gave that money to somebody and he went to the deep jungles of Tamil Nadu. Tirunamalai, I think it is called. And somebody discovered him after 10, 15 years. By that time, he has reached the enlightenment. But also, it applies to you and me. See, there are people you try to expose them to this knowledge, nothing, there is no reaction because there is no spark. But all of you reacted to this knowledge. Reaction depends on how much you are carrying forward, how much you have brought. But there is some kind of reaction. Some of you been to Vedanta Academy. I mean, young boys and girls from all over the world. Some of them at the age of 17, 18, 19, they're doing the course, 3-year residential course. They stay there for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. So from where that call is coming, you carry forward. So if you are carrying forward this knowledge, that fixation on the truth, and whenever you are in conducive environment, that spark will ignite. But if there is nothing to ignite, nothing will ignite. So that assurance is giving that once you are attuned to the self, there is no falling back. It is permanent. And eventually, if you continue with your sadhana, with your efforts, you will become an enlightened person. You will reach supreme reality, which is called as Akshara Brahma. That's the, in fact, title of the next chapter. Akshara Brahma, meaning you become supreme reality. So what do you learn? Just don't worry about am I growing, will I improve? Law of causation is functioning. You go on sowing the cause, effect is automatic. Why are you worrying? And that assurance is given if you are established in this knowledge, you will not regress. So it is a win-win situation. So that concludes chapter number 7. So at the end of each chapter, there is some Sanskrit verse. So we chant that. I will read the translation and then we chant verse number 1. That's the tradition. Meaning the study of chapter 7 is not over. It's not that I have mastered chapter 7. No, whole life you're a student. Those who have the book, they can read from the book. Om Tat Sad Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishastu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Jnana Vijnana Yogo Nama Saptamo Dhyayah. The translation is Om, that is real, supreme reality. That's the only reality. Thus, in the Upanishads of the glorious Bhagavad Gita, the science of the eternal, the scripture of yoga, the dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna ends the 7th chapter entitled The Yoga of Knowledge and Wisdom. So let's chant verse number 1 together.
श्रीभगवानुवाच मय्यासक्तमनः पार्थ योगं युञ्जन्मदाश्रयः असंशयं समग्रं माम् यथा ज्ञास्यसि तच्छृणु.
So we'll start with chapter 8 next week. In case somebody is new and you are planning to continue with these classes, get hold of the book. I think they projected it before the class. It is available on Amazon, but you will need a book. So there is announcement before we conclude.
Hari Om, just a reminder about the retreat. The registration for the retreat up north closes on Saturday, April 19th. So please register before that if you want to attend. And those who have already registered, you need to make the full payment before April 18th, next Friday, to have your spot confirmed.
All right, so let's conclude for today. I mean, are we okay? I mean, if you have any doubts, bring it up next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Microphone on.
Thank you, Amiji.
Thank you, Amit ji. Thank you.
Amit.
Good day.